Hey guys, and welcome to MMA for Life. I just want to thank you for listening. And before we get started, I wanted to give a little bit of information about myself and why I started an MMA podcast. I've been doing martial arts for 10 years now. Yeah, 10 years. And I'm a black belt in Ishinru Karate. And I actually started karate because I loved the UFC. And I've always wanted to do MMA, but then never really got the opportunity to, and have officially decided not to. But I do still love talking about it, and I've always wanted to create a podcast. So yeah, I thought this would be a great opportunity, and I'm glad you guys are listening. I mean, this is a real dream for me, and I love talking about fighting, and I really hope you guys share this and like it. And you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And if you're listening on other podcast sites, listen and hope you enjoy it. Thanks. All right, guys, let's get right into it. UFC 249. This was a great show, guys. I mean, for not having an audience and not really get to plan things out, I mean, this was pretty good. So I'm going to start with the prelims with Ryan Spann and versus Sam Alvey. And Ryan Spann actually just got a win over Nogueira not too long ago, and 8-5 win streak. I mean, this guy is really coming up, and I'm gonna be honest, I was really impressed. I mean, he beat Sam Alvey convincingly. Sam Alvey did get some nice shots on that third round, but Spann really was clearly in charge of that fight the whole time. So, except for like the last round where he got clipped pretty hard, but Spann was definitely the aggressor. Came out swinging really hard. Kept going for takedowns, which was interesting because I wasn't sure how much wrestling he had actually done. Because I know in the Nogueira fight, he just went for the knockout the whole time. I mean, his wrestling was there, but I mean, he wasn't looking to take Nogueira down. I guess that makes sense because it's Nogueira, but still. Sam Alvey, what an interesting fighter. I mean, his fighting style is something else. I mean, came out with those right hands, some good leg kicks. I mean, he did his best. He just should have pressured more. That was the difference there. Spann kept pressuring, and Alvey kept backing up, but he kept throwing that right hand, throwing the right hand, but he never sat on it. He never committed to it. And that's the thing. I would like to have seen maybe him throw some more body shots or tie him up a little more instead of. That's the exact opposite of what happened. Spann kept hitting him with good headshots, then tying him up, going for the takedown. So, good job by both these guys. Like I said, Alvey landed that nice right hand, and Spann has got to work on his cardio because he was tired that last round and got hurt pretty hard. Not sure more what else to say as far as that goes. I mean, Alvey doesn't really have anywhere else to go from here. Spann, I mean, he's going to be he'll be looking for somebody higher, of course. Top 10, top to 15. I don't know. We'll see. But really impressed as far as that goes by both these guys. The one thing I will say though is if Spann is wanting to really get wins over these higher ranked people, he's going to have to work on his cardio, and he's going to have to work on I don't know, maybe just throwing a little bit more. Like, he wasn't cutting the angle very well at times, but I mean, he was winning the fight, obviously, and he was pressuring, but his striking just could have been a little cleaner, maybe some crisper strikes, I don't know. But again, impressed by his wrestling. I mean, I don't know how well it's going to do with him if he ever fights anybody like John Jones or somebody like that. But as far as his pressure goes, he was all right. Probably could have followed up on more of his strikes too. And that's the thing that I'm always going to say is that people need to follow up after they're kicked. Because I noticed Spann was throwing a lot of these front kicks and stuff, but never fully committed to it. Would never throw the front kick and then follow it up with a right hand. He'd always throw the front kick to push it back and then never move forward. It's one of those things. It's like, I'm not just going to throw a kick because I want to throw a kick. I want to throw the kick so I can set up with punches. And if he would have sat down on the kick and then come across with the left or right hand, one of the two, whichever one he was throwing, then he could have followed up and possibly even finished. I mean, he was hitting Ali with a lot of shots, but again, he never sat down on it. He never followed it up, and that's the difference. He did that against Nogueira, obviously, because he knocked Nogueira out. I don't know whether it's just because Sam Alvey is harder to finish or something like that, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where Span's career goes from here. Maybe he'll fight. I don't know. OSP just moved up to heavyweight, so I was maybe thinking him, but I don't know. It'll be interesting for sure, especially because he has knockout power. Moving swiftly along, we have Bryce Mitchell versus Charles Rosa. Gotta say, this was one of the most impressive performances of the night for sure, considering Charles Rosa, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, gets outclassed by this thug nasty dude. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. This guy going for twisters and doing great with that head and arm choke. I mean, this guy has no fear to go for twisters like that. I mean, we've seen one twist or two twisters in the UFC, counting him, but like one twister from Korean Zombie and then 25 attempts by Thug Nasty here. Kind of nuts. I was really impressed. He kept transitioning from the head and arm choke to the twister and then back. Took his back 3 or 4 times. I mean, this is impressive. My cousin was talking to me about it. He was like, "Oh, this guy Charles Rosa, he's no good." But that's the thing. He was good. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I mean, this guy knows what to do on the ground. But Thug Nasty, he just one of those guys with no fear. And I don't know where he actually learned the twister from. I mean, nobody teaches that besides like Eddie Bravo. So, yeah, completely impressed. I mean, he dominated. Like transitioning from the back and stuff like that. The only thing I'm going to say he could have done better was I actually have trained 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu before. Well, I'm no black belt or anything, but transitioning where he got the back, he got one hook in and then kept going for the twister. He should have reached and grabbed the leg there after going off the truck. That's the move, the transition period to get to the twister. If if he would have grabbed the leg there, he could have gone for a crotch ripper, and that would have ended the fight right there. Trust me, I've been in it. My dad's put me in that plenty of times, and this dude would have tapped. I don't know. It's probably because he just doesn't know it. He was probably never taught the move. He probably was just thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna go out here and do the twister and tap this son of a gun out." I don't know, but yeah, impressive. 30-25, 30-25, 30-24. I mean, I had it 30-25, 2 10-8s, but I mean, one judge saw it 3 10-8s. I mean, this was very convincing. Thug Nasty's in the featherweight division too. I mean, he should be getting a top 10 opponent real quick. I mean, this guy is something else. I don't really know what his striking is because we've never seen him strike, but yeah, I was really impressed with his jiu-jitsu. I love 10th Planet, and this guy obviously is taking some of it from them. And yeah, really wish he could have gotten that finish towards the end. I think it was the second round when he got it was like right at the bell. Yeah. But this guy has no fear and he's cool. Oh god, I love him. But Thug Nasty, everybody. What a performance. Yeah. Great job by him. Don't really know who they'll give him, but should be a high-ranked opponent in my opinion. And Charles Rosa, I really don't. He probably just didn't know what to do. I mean, he did everything he could, except for he got taken down pretty easily. But I mean, that's just because this Bryce Mitchell kid. I mean, he's strong. You can tell he's tough. I mean, the only thing I mean, he did everything he could. He was defending the twister. I mean, he didn't really get caught in it. Defending the head and arm choke well. I mean, it is what it is. But back to the drawing board for him, I guess. Next up, we got Vicente Luque versus Nico Price. And again, both these guys came out swinging really hard. Price had really good timing. Looked really strong by both guys. I mean, but Luque was winning, in my opinion, most of these rounds. These two rounds. Most of these 2 rounds. Price was not sitting down on his punches as well as Luque. Every time Luke hit, you could tell he was putting that extra oomph, that extra power into it, and that was the difference. Price was landing a lot, but Luke was sitting down on it more, and that's going to be the difference in what makes a power striker and what just makes somebody a decent striker. Luke throws strong power hands, strong kicks. I mean, really putting into it. Whereas Price was arm punching. I mean, his leg kicks were looking pretty good, I have to say. But that's the difference. The first round was pretty close up until the last couple minutes. Price looked pretty good, but then I felt losing that first round. Second round, again, both guys came out swinging. Good strikes by Luke. Price again throwing more kicks. Luke did a good job of really breaking him down, and lots of 1-2s. Like I said before, Price needed to sit down on his punches more and really use his core. It was close though, up until that third round, whenever Nico got hit really hard. Price was pushing the pace again, and lots of calf kicks by Luke and more kicks by Nico. But Nico was really pushing the pressure. I thought he was doing better that third round, but then got hit by a huge left and almost got caught in a triangle. But then they ended up stopping the fight. Luke just was coming off a loss of Wonder Boy, and Price was coming off a few wins. But this was a good showing by both these guys. Nico, oh god, he got hit by that huge left, got dropped, and then the doctor stoppage. But yeah, good fight by both these guys. Nico's got to work on his hands though. That's going to be the difference in him and these elite fighters. When elite fighters come out with the knockout power, with the really strong hands and stuff, they put their body into it. They keep the pressure on. And Luke was doing that, but Nico really wasn't. So, I don't know. He got hit by lots of calf kicks too. Luke was doing a good job with those calf kicks. Calf kicks hurt, guys. I don't know. I mean, I was watching this one fight. I believe it was Rory McDonald and Douglas Lima. And Douglas Lima kept hitting him with these calf kicks. And by the end of the fight, his calf looked like an alien. And it wasn't quite as bad here, but I mean, these calf kicks were good. And he just set it up really well. And then that big left hand at the end. Guys, if you want to talk about a finishing shot right there, I mean, that was it. Big left hand, knocked him down, and then almost got him in the triangle. I mean, it was a good fight, really good fight. I wish the crowd would have been there for this one, got to say, because they would have really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it watching at home. But yeah, good showing by these guys. Impressed by both of them. Both these guys, I really don't know. I would have said Nico probably had the better shot of cracking the top 5. Just because Luke really got outclassed by Wonder Boy that last time. I mean, he took shots, but I don't know. Maybe give one of them Damian Maia. I mean, I know he's a grappler, but he's coming off a loss. Or maybe Michael Chiesa. He needs a higher ranked opponent, though, in my opinion. But yeah, good fight. Really enjoyed it. Next we have Carla Esparza versus Michelle Waterson. This was my least favorite fight on the card. I mean, they literally took the first minute not doing anything, just kind of circling and stuff. I don't know. That's the one thing I don't like sometimes, is that these guys, they don't want to engage because they're afraid they're going to get hit or knocked out or something. But yeah, really slow start. Waterson, I thought was winning. I thought she won the fight, actually. Landed some good kicks. Esparza wasn't pushing the pace any. And Waterson was pushing her back with kicks. She wasn't following up with punches, I get it. But, I mean, she was landing leg kicks and side kicks. I mean, she was pushing her back there. The only thing that Esparza really did in the first round was get that takedown. And to me, she didn't do anything with it. She just held her in guard, and it wasn't very long. It's not like it was like the whole round. Like, she was getting outstruck for the majority of the round. But, yeah, judges just, I don't really think they knew what to do there, just because, I mean, takedown, most judges, I guess, still think, oh, that's an automatic win, obviously, because they got the takedown. That means they were controlled, and the striking was close enough, I guess. I don't know. I thought the striking definitely went to Watterson's favor, but that's just me. Second round, again, more kicks. Esparza was landing more hands, though. More kicks by Watterson, head strikes by Watterson. Again, lots of kicks, but she needed to follow up with your hands, and that's the thing. Like, judges want to see head strikes here. They don't want to just see a bunch of leg kicks. And I believe in leg kicks. I do. And I thought she used them well. I thought she won the fight because of it. One judge had it 30-27 her, and then the other person had it 30-27 Esparza. I didn't have it 30-27 for anybody. I had it 29-28 Watterson because she controlled the fight with her leg kicks, and she was pushing the pace, whereas Esparza wasn't pushing. She wasn't connected with clean shots. She got a few takedowns. She got one takedown in the first round, but didn't do anything with it. Esparza, I thought, won the third round, but, I mean, either way, I thought the first two rounds clearly went to Watterson. Don't really know what the judges were thinking here, but the fight wasn't great either way because Watterson just wasn't throwing hands as much as she needed to. She wasn't setting up her strikes, and that's the one thing I have to complain about here. Esparza probably could have done a better job of defending those kicks, maybe pushing the hand down, maybe trying to grab one and take it down quicker. I don't know. I mean, push the pace a little more. I mean, she wasn't very active the whole fight. I mean, I wish they could have had some stats to show how much she was moving forward, because a lot of that stuff she was doing, she was moving backwards on. She wasn't connected with anything great. I don't know, but yeah, decent fight. But on a fight card like this, where there was lots of action and lots of, power and everything, this just didn't really do it for me. And then to have the judges come out here and kind of screw over Michelle Watterson, in my opinion. At first, I wasn't sure if people thought it was controversial, and I had to look it up to make sure. But yeah, this is a controversial decision, and I don't agree with it. And it showed in the next fight, too, that the judges weren't on point tonight, in my opinion, at least, because Cowboy and Pettis is up next. But yeah, Esparza is interesting because she ended up winning the title she was the first one to win the title, and they ended up losing to Joanna. Somebody was talking about maybe putting her with Joanna again. I think that's a bad idea for her. Like, she's gonna get knocked out. She's doing better, but like her not being active in this fight, if she does that against Joanna, she's gonna get knocked out cold. I think Rose is the better option, honestly. But either just because Rose is coming off of a loss and she hasn't fought in a while, Esparza's has gotten better. That would be my way to go, I think. But yeah, I mean, just one of those things with the judges. Never leave in the hands of the judges, as Dana always says. Watterson did really good. I don't know where they'll put her. I mean, this is her second loss in a row. Just depends on what they want to do. I really wish she would have won this one, though. I've always liked her. The karate hottie, of course I liked her. But, I mean, her striking looked really good here. Again, she just got to follow up on her hands more. That's the thing. If she would just follow up on her hands more, she would have won that fight. But judges like to see lots of head strikes, and she just wasn't throwing them. But, yeah, needs improvement. And same thing for Esparza. She just needs to push the pressure a little more. But her striking looked clean. No criticism there, just not putting the pressure. I mean, that's the majority of my complaints. So, decent fight. Could have been better. Later fights were much better, of course. So, now we move on to Alexei Oleinik and Fabricio Verdum. This is Verdum's comeback because he lost to Alexander Volkov last time. I believe Alexei Oleinik was coming off of a win, but I'm not sure about that. But Oleinik did a great job here. I mean, to put the pressure on Verdum like he did, and swing with wild uppercuts. He did lots of dirty boxing. I mean, It was pretty impressive. I mean, not the technical stuff, obviously, but the right strategy, which I didn't even really know. I thought for sure that Verdum was going to take this just because I knew he wanted to get that comeback, but he didn't. I mean, he just couldn't handle the pressure, guys. He just didn't know what to do, I guess, because every time he would get backed up, he would just look for the knee and not really find any punches in there. I mean, he just almost got finished. It was pretty close. I was really shocked by that just because Verdum, I mean, he beat Cain Velasquez. And this is no criticism to Alexei Oleinik, but he just hasn't beaten the guys that Fabricio Verdum has. And the way he just kind of went in there and was able to strike with him. Verdum did, I think, maybe it was the second round. Yeah, I believe it was the second round. He got the takedown and stuff, but ended up getting hurt multiple times, and that's really what lost him for him. Verdum needed to push the pressure and get Oleinik off of him, but just never could. Or he should have taken it to the ground earlier, because, I mean, he was almost finished in that first round. Yeah, I'm not sure where he goes from here. I really think he needs to retire, because he's not standing up to the top guys anymore. I mean, Oleinik seemed like a stepping stone to me, at least, and he couldn't get over it. It was a split, which I thought was kind of weird. I thought Oleinik had it pretty clearly, but Verdum just wasn't using his footwork well. He was backing up, looking for the big knee. I mean, not shooting takedowns. Well, I ended up on top multiple times, which was good, but he just should have done that earlier. He just kept getting pressured and didn't know what to do with it. It just didn't seem like he did his homework very well to prepare for the fight. And Oleinik did, and that was the difference. Oleinik knew that Verdum would probably be a slow starter because he hadn't done it in a while. And Verdum needed to do the opposite of that. He needed to be ready for Oleinik to come out swinging, and just wasn't. But yeah, Oleinik controlled the first round, and Verdum ate a spinning back fist in the second round, which I forgot about. Maybe even if Verdum could have pulled guard or something, I don't know. But he just, kept moving backwards, and Oleinik got taken down. Verdum tried to go for an armbar, but Oleinik is good on the ground. Oleinik is very interesting because he finishes people with the Ezekiel choke. One that I've used in competition. I actually didn't get to finish there either, but with the Ezekiel choke whenever I did it. But Oleinik has tapped multiple people. But yeah, he did it, but he didn't attempt it in this round or in this fight. But did a good job defending the arm bars and stuff. I just wish Verdum would have tried something a little earlier rather than getting beat up for the first couple rounds. I don't know. Just seemed like he wasn't fully there. Maybe because ring rust, of course. We'll get more to that because of Dominic Cruz. But yeah, impressive performance as far as just putting the pressure on by Oleinik, and Verdum's got to go back to the drawing board. Maybe not wait as long this next time, just because. Well, I know he got suspended. That's right. So I can't really blame that on him. But obviously, he's got to work on his striking. He needs to work on his footwork because he circled a lot. He was just looking for the big knee. Wasn't throwing his hands very much. I mean, yeah, just didn't seem fully prepared, in my opinion, at least. But what do I know? I've only been doing karate for 10 years. I'm no MMA fighter, but that's just me. Yeah, great job by Oleinik. Maybe they should give him Rosenstrike next, since Rosenstrike lost on this card too, which we'll get more into that later when I break that fight down, because that's going to be a good one. But yeah, good job by Oleinik. More work for Verdum. Like I said, I think he should just retire. But just because, I mean, he's already won the belt, and he's old, or older. I'm not going to say old, because Oleinik was old too. But he's older. He's not able to finish a guy, in my opinion, he should have finished, and he probably would have finished a couple years ago. He's not going to really get back to the top. Cain Velasquez is basically done already too, and I think Verdum needs to head that way. Just my opinion, though. Next, we have Donald Cerrone versus Anthony Pettis. I was kind of mad at the judges for this one, just because I thought Cerrone did enough to win the fight, and this was his fourth loss, which is really depressing because I've loved Cerrone for a long time, ever since the WEC, and I knew he wanted to get a strong win here, and I thought he did enough to do it. But Anthony Pettis did land lots of hard strikes. I mean, he was landing the harder strikes, but Cerrone was landing more, and I thought it was fairly even on the feet. But then once Cerrone got the takedowns and stuff, I mean, he ended up going to side control a couple times, I think. I mean, I know I said before that takedowns don't really, they shouldn't fully determine the fight, but I mean, for this one, he passed guard. It wasn't like the Carla Esparza fight where she just sat there and really didn't do anything with it. He passed guard, and the fight and the stand-up was pretty even, in my opinion. Unlike the Esparza fight with Michelle Watterson. I mean, this was pretty even. Both guys were hitting strong. I mean, but then Cerrone got the takedowns, which again I thought won him the fight. Chael Sonnen agrees with me apparently, and a lot of people did online. Some people had it for Pettis, but I'm gonna say the majority of people had it for Cerrone. I was glad that he did better in this one, because first time they fought, he got knocked out really quickly when Pettis was on fire, and Cerrone did better in this fight, especially because he wasn't starting as slow like he did before with Connor, and like he's done with like he did with Rafael dos Anjos, and like he's done with so many other fights. Anytime there's a big fight, he always starts slower, but he came out striking this one and did a really good job. Got the takedowns. I didn't think he could do much better. I mean, he did the exact opposite of what happened before. He went through all 3 rounds, landed some shots, didn't get knocked out. Maybe it was because it was 170. A lot of people saying that he is better at 170 because he's not having to cut as much weight, and the body shots hurt him last time against Pettis. I don't know, but I really thought he won. Gonna disagree with the judges again on this one. I really thought they did a poor job on this card. But good job for Pettis, though. He didn't really need the win as much as Cerrone did, so it's a little disappointing that Cerrone didn't get the win here. But good fight by both of them. I mean, they don't ever disappoint. Neither one of them do. I haven't watched a boring Cerrone fight or a boring Anthony Pettis fight. So good striking on both sides. I mean, Cerrone is no slouch, and neither is Pettis. And of course, I wasn't surprised by that. These guys are world class, and don't know where Cerrone's going to go from here. This is his 4th loss in a row. They're not going to cut him, of course. He's Donald Cerrone. He'll keep fighting, but this is his longest losing streak, and I don't really know what he's going to do. But he'll keep fighting. Same thing for Pettis. They'll probably give him some younger guys. Same thing probably for Cerrone. They'll probably give him some younger guys. But yeah, Pettis. Pettis landed some really hard shots and nice right hands. But I thought Cerrone landed more as far as the volume was better, and then got the takedowns. And yeah, just really disappointing because, you know, Cerrone is one of my favorites. He's one of the reasons why I fell in love with mixed martial arts. He's always down to fight. But he'll come back strong, I think, especially because he's never lost 4 fights in a row like this. So I think he'll come back really strong. I don't know whether he'll stay at 170 or not. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know what they've got planned for him. But I don't think he'll lose to a younger guy again. Like, if they give him a younger guy, I think because he beat up Alexander Hernandez, who was an up and comer. He lost to Darren Till, but Darren Till is a different monster. And I think Pettis is still on the downhill of his career, I think, but he's still got a few more years in him. Entertaining fight. Didn't go the way I wanted. I thought that Cerrone had it, but like I said, they'll leave it in the hands of the judges. But Cerrone did 10 times better than he did last time. Did a lot better, especially after coming off the loss of Connor. But again, just really disappointing. But overall, I enjoyed the fight and pretty pleased with Cerrone's performance, and definitely pleased with Anthony Pettis' performance. I would just say that Pettis probably needs to work on the wrestling some more, because that's what ultimately what his downfall was against Dustin Poirier and against Rafael dos Anjos. Yeah, both those guys beat him, right? Yeah, but yeah, good fight. I enjoyed it. We are now officially on the main card, and the first fight here is Greg Hardy versus Yorgan De Castro. Now, why they put this fight on the main card and not on Fight Pass, I have no idea. But yeah, Cerrone versus Pettis not good enough to make it on the main card. But Greg Hardy versus Yorgan De Castro, this fight was all right. Neither one of these guys have very many fights, so it was a good matchup for Hardy. But yeah, this did not deserve to be on the main card over Cerrone and Pettis. But let's get into it. So De Castro came out swinging pretty good. I thought he won the first round, which the judges disagree with again. But like I said, what do I know? He was landing lots of leg kicks, and they were pointing that out. Like he was throwing them hard. I mean, they looked like Thai kicks. He was putting his hip into it. Looked really good. And then suddenly in the second round, I don't know what was up with him after he missed on a leg kick, probably broke his toe, I think. But he just wasn't throwing a lot. I mean, he just backed up. Didn't really commit to anything, and that's what really hurt him. He just wasn't active enough. He stopped throwing as many leg kicks, and then Hardy came back and was throwing leg kicks, and it was just very strange to see him back up like he was. He was just not committing to anything, just wasn't putting on the pressure. It was just night and day. And they didn't even give him the first round, which I didn't think was fair, but he has really no excuse for these next two rounds. Like he just wasn't being active, and Hardy was, and that's the difference. I don't know what happened or what he was really thinking. He just was slowed down quite a bit. Hardy landed some good punches and was throwing leg kicks, but I really think De Castro could have won this fight. There at the end of the third round, he wasted like a good solid minute just laying down and letting Hardy punch him in the thigh and stuff. I'm like, man, what are you even doing? Like, you knew you were losing that fight and just wasted 20 seconds laying down, just doing nothing. And I get why he didn't want to take it to the ground or anything, just because Hardy's a big guy, and that's not the guy you want on top of you, possibly. I don't know, but yeah, he had the right idea in the first round. Hit him with lots of leg kicks and some jabs, back him up. Could have landed some more body shots, I think, but other than that, he did a good job that first round, and then just backed off that second round. Hardy just looked really green, is what I would say. That's a professional wrestling term that means that you can tell they haven't practiced a lot. But yeah, he just looked really green. His posture wasn't great, but he knows how to punch. You can tell that he's practiced at least a little bit. But yeah, he could be a little smoother on his punches and just needs to relax a little more. That's what my sensei always keeps telling me whenever I'm fighting, is you got to relax. You can't be so tight, and Hardy was very tight, very bent over, just not smooth. And that'll come with time, but he doesn't have that much time. I mean, he's won 6 fights in the UFC, or 6 fights overall now. A few fights in the UFC, lost twice, lost to Alexander Volkov, but did a good job in that fight. But when you're competing at this level, you're going to have to step up very quickly. He just needs to practice in the gym more. Really practice striking, just sparring and free moving. I mean, and try to keep that posture nice and tight instead of bent over like he was, and just feel the flow, feel the movement. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's not about being tight and really trying to take somebody's head off. If you'll just relax, you'll get to that point. You'll get to where you can just bounce and move. And I know it's probably more difficult as a heavyweight. I'm not a heavyweight. I'm not a big guy, but my sensei is a big guy, and trust me, he's a beast. And anytime he moves, he's freely moving. He's not bent over or anything. He was up and using his footwork, and that's one thing that Hardy could have done better. But he did start to do good after that. After the first round, the second and third rounds, I thought he clearly won. He kept up the pressure, was tired, but not noticeably. He didn't slow down too much, but just needs to be more loose. Needs to, just stay at it. I think he's where he needs to be. Honestly, after not being doing MMA this long, I mean, he's doing pretty good. Just keep up, keep going, keep training, maybe even a little harder. I don't know how much he trains, or what his training regimen is like, but I would just say keep putting the hours in the gym, and he's gonna make it somewhere. Be interesting to see how far he goes. I mean, we could be looking at a world champ someday. As far as that goes, I mean, he's just green to me. Green. Uh, Reminds me of Chris Jericho. He's a wrestler. He called Goldberg Greenberg because you could just tell that Goldberg, who's another professional wrestler, just didn't know what he was doing that much. And I'm not going to say he obviously knew what he was doing, but I mean, this is high class stuff here. And he just could have flowed a little better. I don't even know what the Castro was doing. This guy, he had that first round, in my opinion, and just let it slip right out of his hands. DC and them were telling him, "Hey, man, you gotta be more active," and he just didn't do it. I understand he probably hurt his foot, but he was starting to slow down after that anyway. Before that anyway. So I don't know, but that's on him. He could have won that fight, in my opinion. But good job by Hardy by not letting him up and keep putting on the pressure and throwing nice leg kicks. So, yeah, good fight. Next, we have Jeremy Stevens versus Calvin Cater. Stevens missed weight, which was a little surprising to me, just because I don't remember him having too many weight problems. But, yeah, missed it by 5 pounds. That could have been to the coronavirus, because they're not having the facilities they need or whatever. So that's kind of understandable, maybe. And Calvin Cater just coming off of a loss to Zabit, and he said he wanted to not start slow this fight, but that didn't happen because Stevens came out swinging, man, putting on the pressure, landing some good kicks, letting hands too. Yeah, Cater was just moving slow again, just like he said he didn't want to, and then went out there and was getting hit pretty hard. I mean, nothing to knock him out or anything. I just think, like, even after the fight, he thought he was moving fast. He thought he was starting faster, but to me, he just didn't. It's hard to do. Maybe it's because I feel like Jeremy Stevens was warm. Like, I feel like his warm-up was probably better than Cater's, maybe. I don't know. But Cater did have some good boxing in that first round. He started throwing back, but Stevens landed lots of body kicks, and Cater kept throwing back. But Jeremy had the right game plan, because he probably watched the Zabit fight. Came out swinging pretty hard, putting on the pressure, just like he always does. He's always down to fight. And Cater with some good boxing, though. I mean, he did pretty good. But then round 2, Stevens started strong again. But then Cater finally started catching him more. Hit him with some good uppercuts from what I remember. And then had some good head movement and leg kicks. Stevens landed good shots, though, too. But Calvin, his shots were a little bit better. But then once his boxing started taking over, and then got him backed up against the fence, and then hit him with a huge elbow. I mean, this thing was beautiful. Chris Weidman said that it was just like his elbow. I don't remember watching that fight, but I'm sure it was pretty clean too. But man, this thing was beautiful. I don't practice elbows that often, but I have them in a kata that I do, and it looked just like it. Just boom, over the top. I mean, it's a good thing Stevens had a mouthpiece in, because let me tell you, that would have taken his teeth out. But Stevens had a good game plan overall. I mean, he did his job. He just got taken over after this first round, and Cater just finally started putting him on him, and I don't know. I think Stevens might need to move up to 155 if he wants to keep doing it. I mean, he's lost plenty enough at 45. He's had some wins, though. He's a respectable fighter, but I don't even know if he can do anything at 155. I mean, there's plenty of good fighters at 155 that would beat him. I mean, he's not making it to fight Khabib or Tony or Poirier. I mean, those guys are just going to smash him. So, I don't know where he goes from here, but pretty good at the first start. But Calvin Kattar, man, this guy's got a pretty big career ahead of him. I mean, he's got plenty of wins. Lost as a beat, but won that third round against Zabit, which a lot of people are talking about. But it'll be interesting. I'm assuming we'll eventually get a rematch between those two, maybe even for a title, because Zabit's going pretty good, and 145 is an open division right now as far as that goes, because we haven't seen Volkanovski fight any of these guys yet. So it should be pretty interesting. Maybe give Calvin Kattar Matt Holloway or Brian Ortega, one of these guys. I mean, he deserves a top-level fighter. Korean Zombie, Yair Rodriguez. I mean, there's lots of matchups he could do. But this was a huge elbow, huge win. In my opinion, he just didn't get the start that he wanted. But, I mean, he came back, and I feel like he's going to be a good championship fighter. Like, he's going to be able to go 5 rounds like Frankie Edgar and those guys always did. Yeah, just great job. Big elbow. I mean, that's scary, really. Probably could have taken his teeth out. I mean, it was just right on the button. Yeah, lots of places to go from here. It'll be it's very exciting to have somebody as young as him and have a lot of him in the win column. I don't know if he'll be able to beat Matt's. That remains to be seen. I don't know, but yeah, I think I would go with Matt's Holloway. That way, to give Matt's somebody younger and to give them the opportunity, and then to maybe possibly give Matt's one back in the win column. So that's just what I would go with. Maybe it might be a little early, but that's just what I would do. Good fight though. Stevens landed some good shots, and Kattar came back and hit him with a big elbow. Impressive. Yeah. Now we move on to a good one. Ngannou versus Rosenstrike. This was a brutal knockout. I mean, Ngannou is scary. A beast. I mean, this guy is just a monster. No other way to describe it. Rosenstrike came out and tried to leg kick him a few times. A couple times? Yeah, twice. And then Ngannou just looked like a crazy man out there, just went swinging and then hit him with a sledgehammer of an uppercut. I mean, Rosenstrike had the right idea at first, but he really needed to move more. He wasn't circling. He backed straight up. I mean, he stayed in the pocket way too long. And his head movement was good. At first, I thought it was his head movement that was off, but no. He moved out of the way two or three strikes. But, yeah, it was not a good idea to back up on Ngannou like that. Rosenstrike was coming off of a pretty good win over Overeem. Little weird stoppage there at the end, but I mean, he did split his lip open. If Ngannou doesn't get the title shot after this, that's a crime, because he's coming off of a win over Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez. I mean, this guy is pretty freaking good. I will be interested to see what happens to the heavyweight division now, because right now it should be DC and Stipe fighting, but if DC wins that, I doubt he's going to want to fight Francis Ngannou. And Francis is clearly the number one contender. So if DC relinquishes the title, then where does it go? Do they have Ngannou fight somebody else for the title? Because, I mean, he shouldn't really fight Stipe for the title. If Stipe loses to DC, then Stipe should have to fight somebody else. But who will fight Ngannou for the title? I mean, it can't be JDS. I mean, it could be Curtis Blades, but I mean, Ngannou's already crushed him twice. So, and nobody wants to fight this guy. I mean, he has literally beaten the best out of the division. Maybe the winner of Walt Harris and Alistair Overeem, but isn't that fight happening? Think so? Yeah. But Overeem's already got crushed by him too, and I doubt Walt Harris is winning that fight. I mean, he might, but I think Overeem will win it. But even if he does, I mean, how's he going to beat Ngannou? I mean, I just don't see it happening. To me, the best choice is probably Curtis Blades, just because Curtis is coming off a win off of Junior Dos Santos as well. I know we've already seen the fight twice, but I mean, who else is there? Who else are they going to choose? It's not going to be freaking Dos Santos, because Dos Santos is coming off 2 losses, and Kane's gone. Verdum just lost. Maybe Oleinik. I forgot about Oleinik. Oleinik is a decent choice, but I don't know. I don't think he's beaten Ngannou, and yeah, just gonna be a weird situation. I don't know if DC will win. I mean, it's an easy choice if Stipe wins. If Stipe wins, he's gonna fight Ngannou again, which will be interesting. I think Ngannou will do better this time. We really haven't seen Ngannou wrestle, but just from his striking, I mean, this guy's a beast. I don't want this guy. I don't want to fight him, see him on the street. I was telling my dad earlier I didn't want this guy playing with my kids, and he said he might eat one of them. But yeah, this guy's a beast, man. He's jacked, and his striking isn't actually that clean. I mean, he doesn't throw lots of straight punches, but he's got a good shovel uppercut. I mean, it's not clean, but it's hard. I mean, this guy, he's just throwing bombs. Sledgehammers is what I call it. Hit him with a bazooka. I knew there was something special with this guy after he beat Alistair Overeem. I mean, I know he beat Andrei Arlovsky, but a lot of people didn't see that. But after he beat Alistair Overeem and knocked him into outer space, I mean, a lot of people started noticing this guy. And I think we're looking at a future champ, because Stipe could beat him, but either way, Stipe's got to retire eventually. And who else is going to beat this guy? I know who doesn't want to fight this guy, because I was talking about this with my dad earlier too. John Jones will not fight Francis Ngannou. I guarantee you. He does not want a piece of this guy. He got hit way too much that last fight against Thiago Santos. And, I can't remember his name. Shoot. What's his name? Dominic Reyes. That's who it is. Dominic Reyes. John Jones just got hit a lot by Dominic Reyes. And I guarantee you, he does not want to fight Francis Ngannou like that. He will get wrecked. And he was talking about wanting to fight at 220, but he does not want to move up to heavyweight now. That is the last place he wants to be. Guarantee you, he will die. Ngannou is scary. He's one of the scariest heavyweights we've ever seen, if not the scariest. This guy's amazing, but the only thing I will say, his wrestling is not great, as we've seen, and his striking isn't that clean. I mean, he's landing punches, but they're not straight punches. There are lots of hooks and stuff. I don't know. I wish he'd use his jab a little more. I mean, he's long. This is a long guy, but he'll do fine. I mean, I've already said he's going to be a future champ, in my opinion. Just big and solid muscle. But yeah, there are things to improve still. But overall, I mean, how could you ask for anything better? This guy is something else. But I hope Stipe wins, so that this will be easier. I'm rooting for Stipe. I like Stipe. But if Ngannou does have to fight somebody else, it should be either Oleinik or Curtis Blades. One of the two. Yeah, so good performance. Couldn't ask for anything better. Rosenstrike needs to be careful as to who he calls out next time. I don't know who he'll fight next. Maybe he fights Oleinik, like I said earlier. But it'll be interesting for sure, especially coming off a loss like this. He needs to work on his circling a lot more, and needs to think about what he's doing next time before he calls somebody out, especially Francis Ngannou. But I mean, he had balls. I'll give him that. That's for sure. But wasn't lucky this time. But I hope he comes back because he did good against the Reem. So yeah, good fight. 20-second knockout. Couldn't ask for anything better. Next, we have the co-main, which was Dominic Cruz versus Henry Cejudo. Cejudo, man, he is definitely one of the best. That's for sure. After beating Demetrius Johnson and TJ Dillashaw and now Cruz, this guy is a world-class athlete. Olympic gold medalist. I mean, king of cringe of all things. I really like him. I've said for a long time now, this guy is legit. And it's really shocking that he retired after this. I mean, it's not that shocking for now that we've heard that Dana saying that he wanted to retire. And Chael Sonnen said on his podcast that Cejudo retired early from wrestling, which I really don't keep up with. Well, it's amateur wrestling. Before I was talking about professional wrestling. But yeah, Cruz started off with his footwork really well, but Cejudo, man, came up with some strong leg kicks. I mean, that's what was on this card that really changed things for a lot of people, was throwing leg kicks. Leg kicks really set things up and just chopped Cruz down with them. I mean, just landed him really hard, and Cruz's footwork just wasn't the same. I think part of that was just because Cruz has had 2 or 3 knee surgeries. He's blown out his knee a couple times and tore his groin. He wasn't the same, and he says he doesn't believe in ring rust, which is a good mental thing, but I could tell there was some there. He was doing his figure 8 thing really well, but Cejudo, man, Cejudo was just cutting him off at every angle, chopping him down. He did perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. Cejudo is one of the best, if not the best, bantamweight and flyweight of all time. Maybe one of the best of the lower weight classes. I mean, we have never seen anybody this dominant. He's beaten the best out of everybody. And it's just sad that he's going to retire now, because I wanted to see him fight Aljamain Sterling. I think that would have been an interesting fight. But Cejudo just did great. I thought Cruz's size might hurt him a little bit, just Cruz has good wrestling, but that didn't even phase Cejudo. Cejudo just came out there, did his job, circled really well, hit him with the big knee. Cruz was very ornery about the stoppage. I agreed with it. I figured they were going to stop it after that first knee, because if you go back and watch the replay, Cruz was not there after that knee and got hit with 11 shots afterwards. I counted like 13, man. I mean, Cejudo does a really good job of swarming. Did the same thing with TJ, and TJ said the same thing. Oh, I was getting up. Oh, but man, I don't care what you say. Cruz was out. Not cold, but good enough. I mean, 11 shots, guys. Get hit with 11 solid shots. You're not getting back up. Not really. And I knew he was concussed after he kept saying the same stuff over and over again. He kept saying, oh, I was trying to get up. A few seconds later, oh, I was trying to get up. I've been concussed before. Trust me. I know how that feels. I've literally been hit and then asked my dad, like, hey, man, where's my gloves? And then 20 seconds later, hey, man, where's my gloves? 20 seconds later, hey, man, where's my gloves? I mean, this has happened to me personally after getting hit in a tournament. Like, you don't come back from shots after that. His face after he was hit with that knee, it didn't look right. He was out. And yeah, he might have gotten up, but he really got saved. He really got saved after that getting hit with that knee. And then he was trash talking the ref. Man, I know you're mad, but don't be trash talking him, saying he was smell like alcohol and cigarettes. I mean, you're trying to ruin your guy's career like that. And I was glad that Herb Dean defended him from Cruz's attacks. I think Cruz needs to retire. He's done enough in this fight career. He's beaten tons of people. I mean, you could give him Cody Garbrandt next, just to have a rematch, just for him to get his win back, probably. But, I mean, what else does he have to prove? He's done everything. I mean, multiple-time champion. He's had so many injuries, and he's a great fight commentator. He knows the business better than anybody. And it was kind of disappointing to see him lose here. I wanted him to win, just because, I mean, that would have been a great comeback story. But Cejudo was on point, and, man, good for Cejudo for retiring. Not many people get to go out on top. We've seen so many times like Chuck Liddell, Rampage, Vanderlei, guys from the old days. I mean, even Randy went out on his back, and GSP went out on top, but even he got beat up by Johnny Hendricks before he retired the first time, and now he's retired the second time. But anyway, he still got beat up. But Cejudo really only took damage against the DJ in the first fight, and then came back as a monster and kept taking him down and stuff. I mean, he's one of the best ever. Probably my top 5 of all time. Definitely the best in the lower weight classes. Just a phenomenal fighter. And man, I hope everything goes well. Him starting a family probably one of these days. I don't know, but really good job from him. Very impressed. If you would ask me a few years ago if he could have beaten Dominic Cruz, I would have said heck no, but he proved me wrong for sure. Olympic gold medalist, 2-time champ, defending both belts. I mean, this guy's one of the best of all time, for sure. Really sad for Dom, though, because I know he wanted to prove that he could still do it. But I really think it's time to hang up the gloves, become a fight analyst, work for the UFC, or go somewhere else. I don't know. He won't do that. He doesn't need to go to Bellator, or what I call it, Bella Snore, because I don't like it that much. But, yeah, good footwork. But again, TJ hit him with a lot of leg kicks whenever he fought him, and then Cejudo hit him with a lot of leg kicks and just chopped him down, had his timing, hit him with the knee. Just got caught. But great fight. And again, wish the live crowd would have been there, because this is another one where I think the live crowd might have made a difference, just because Cejudo always goes off the live crowd. He's the king of cringe. Awesome entrances, or depending on who you ask, awesome entrances. I like it because I love professional wrestling, but I understand why some people don't. But man, good job for Cejudo. Glad he's retiring. And Cruz, I hope you just retire, man. Just hang it up. You've done well. I understand, but just stay as a fight commentator now, okay? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Now, for the main event. It's time! Yeah, so the main event. Whoo! I was not expecting this at all. If you would have asked me if a few years ago, if Justin Gaethje would have come in and tear up the division like he has after losing to Poirier and Alvarez like he did, I would have told you that you're crazy. But man, what a beast. This guy came out there, hit Tony with brutal hands, brutal leg kicks, checked his leg kicks. Tony was beat up. Like, I told my dad, it looked like he threw him in a wood chipper. Just hit him hard. And without the crowd there, it just made it even worse, because Tony kept getting hit, and it was just bat, 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 over and over again. Gaethje's timing was so well done. So good. I couldn't believe it. And Tony just took it, man. He took it like a champ. I've never seen anything like that. Never. I've been watching MMA for a long time, guys, and this was something else. Just took the strides, kept going. Showed lots of heart. Kind of crazy. I just couldn't imagine how somebody could take that much punishment. Just kept getting beat over and over and over again. But props to Gaethje. I couldn't believe he did it. But really sad for Tony, though, because I don't think he'll ever get to the shot with Khabib that he wants now. And, oh, God, I wanted to see that fight so bad. Oh, God, how much I wanted to see that fight. That would have been so good. Just because Tony is so good off his back, and then Khabib is so good on the wrestling takedowns and stuff. But yeah, Gaethje did his homework, man. Hit big left hands and good rights and good leg kicks and checked the leg kicks and didn't let Tony get any offense. It was just amazing. Absolutely brilliant. And I just can't wait for Gaethje to fight Khabib now, just because he's a wrestler, and we might actually finally get to see him. Actually, I know we will. He will wrestle, whether he wants to or not. Khabib is going to try to take him down. He will have to use some of those wrestling credentials. Doesn't matter what he says. Oh, I don't like to wrestle because it tires me out. Well, you're going to have to use it, and I cannot wait. But yeah, Tony needs to. Whew, I don't know what he's gonna do after this. Like, this will be a very big change for him. Like, think back to Dos Santos versus Cain Velasquez. How badly Cain beat him there, and how much he was never really the same after that. I mean, this was that bad. This was just as bad. Just kept beating him and beating him and beating him. 4 or 5 rounds, just death, pain, suffering. I mean, I just couldn't believe he took the punishment as much as he did. Gaethje is one of the best, man. One of the best. I'm seriously impressed. I would be surprised if Tony ever fights again. I'm serious. I know it might be a little early to say that. It's only been a few days for me since I watched the fight, or the fight came on. But, yeah, this was something else. I just couldn't believe it. And if Tony does want to come back, I say the fight is to make is Dustin Poirier. I think that'll be a good fight, but I don't know. He had 15-fight win streak, and then to go from that to getting beat up as badly as he did, just brutal. Absolutely brutal. It was something else. I wish Tony would have tried to pull guard or tried the Imanari roll like he was wanting to do, but instead waited later to do that, and by that time he was already dead. I mean, after those first 3 rounds, there was no way he was coming back. I knew it, and it was a great stoppage because I told my dad, Tony would not back down unless he got killed. I mean, Gaethje was going to have to kill him, and that's basically what he did. He just kept hitting him, broke his orbital bone. That last one broke his orbital bone. I don't know if you guys have ever broken that, but I mean, it hurts. It is awful. Awful, awful, awful. I just couldn't believe it. So dominant. And didn't even have to use his wrestling or anything. I thought for sure Tony was going to take it just because his striking seemed cleaner, but man, Gaethje was trying to kill him with every single punch. They told him, hey man, you're going to kill this guy if you don't slow down. You can slow down just a little bit. And he did, and then kept it straight. He didn't go wild like he's done before, which was good. But I was so impressed, and I cannot wait for him to fight Khabib. And when he does, it's going to be interesting to see whether he decides to use his wrestling more than he has before, and how he's going to use it. Whether he's going to try to stand and bang and hope he doesn't get taken down and really try to sprawl. Before, when he was talking, he was saying that you have to. You can't sprawl with Khabib because he'll push you up against the cage. So you have to come forward with him, deflect his takedown by coming forward at him and trying to fight him like a bull. I guess, I don't know, but I'm no wrestler. I wrestled for a couple weeks in high school. Didn't really like it just because I was so used to the striking. But I really, I think that's the right call. I don't know, but we'll see. I just hope that Khabib is able to fight again because he's in Russia right now still and wasn't able to come in for the fight. Yeah, really crazy though. And Tony is never going to get to fight him, I don't think. I'll be surprised if Tony ever fights again. Such an utter beatdown. But great job by Gaethje. And I really enjoyed this card. I mean, this was the perfect card to bring back after everything happened. Even without the crowd there. It honestly made it better. I really think Tony might have fought different if the crowd was there, but again, that's no excuse. He knew what he was getting into. Brilliant performance by Gaethje. Just couldn't have asked for anything better. Thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. And please share this podcast. I mean, I love talking about fighting, guys. I really think it's going to be great. I'm going to try to break down cards probably once a week. Starting whenever I release this podcast, going to try to do it once a week. Haven't really set up a schedule yet, but I'm hoping to do that at some point. And I just love talking about fighting, and I hope you can enjoy it with me and grow my fan base. And I think it'd be great, guys. This is going to be an awesome gig, and hope you enjoy the podcast. But thank you for listening, and you guys are the best. Trust me, because I never thought I'd be able to do this. But thank you so much. he ever fights again. I'm serious. I know it might be a little early to say that. It's only been a few days for me since I watched the fight or the fight came on. But yeah, this was something else. I just couldn't believe it. And if Tony does want to come back, I say the fight is to make is Dustin Poirier. I think that'll be a good fight, but I don't know. He had 15 fight win streak, and then to go from that to getting beat up as badly as he did, just brutal. Absolutely brutal. It was something else. I wish Tony would have tried to pull guard or tried the Imanari roll like he was wanting to do, but instead waited later to do that, and by that time he was already dead. I mean, after those first 3 rounds, there was no way he was coming back. I knew it, and it was a great stoppage because I told my dad, Tony would not back down unless he got killed. I mean, Gaethje was going to have to kill him, and that's basically what he did. He just kept hitting him, broke his orbital bone. That last one broke his orbital bone. I don't know if you guys have ever broken that, but I mean, it hurts. It is awful. Awful, awful, awful. I just couldn't believe it. So dominant. And didn't even have to use his wrestling or anything. I thought for sure Tony was going to take it just because his striking seemed cleaner, but man, Gaethje was trying to kill him with every single punch. They told him, hey man, you're going to kill this guy if you don't slow down. You can slow down just a little bit. And he did, and then kept it straight. He didn't go wild like he's done before, which was good. But I was so impressed, and I cannot wait for him to fight Khabib. And when he does, it's going to be interesting to see whether he decides to use his wrestling more than he has before, and how he's going to use it. Whether he's going to try to stand and bang and hope he doesn't get taken down and really try to sprawl. Before, when he was talking, he was saying that you have to. You can't sprawl with Khabib because he'll push you up against the cage. So you have to come forward with him, deflect his takedown by coming forward at him and trying to fight him like a bull. I guess I don't know, but I'm no wrestler. I wrestled for a couple weeks in high school. Didn't really like it just because I was so used to the striking. But I really, I think that's the right call. I don't know, but we'll see. I just hope that Khabib is able to fight again because he's in Russia right now still and wasn't able to come in for the fight. Yeah, really crazy though. And Tony is never going to get to fight him, I don't think. I'll be surprised if Tony ever fights again. Such an utter beatdown. But great job by Gaethje. And I really enjoyed this card. I mean, this was the perfect card to bring back after everything happened. Even without the crowd there. It honestly made it better. I really think Tony might have fought different if the crowd was there, but again, that's no excuse. He knew what he was getting into. Brilliant performance by Gaethje. Just couldn't have asked for anything better. Thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. And please share this podcast. I mean, I love talking about fighting, guys. I really think it's going to be great. I'm going to try to break down cards probably once a week. Starting whenever I release this podcast, going to try to do it once a week. Haven't really set up a schedule yet, but I'm hoping to do that at some point. And I just love talking about fighting, and I hope you can enjoy it with me and grow my fan base. And I think it'd be great, guys. This is going to be an awesome gig, and hope you enjoy the podcast. But thank you for listening, and you guys are the best. Trust me, because I never thought I'd be able to do this. But thank you so much.